Hi everyone, the Mentalist here, and today's topic is Hekatjt Objective Feeling, a modernized interpretation of Van der Oop perspective. Objective feelers live primarily through emotional connections with others. Feeling attitudes generally align with values and norms approved by the community, shaping a social harmony to be maintained. This type is not dominated by extreme emotion or overwhelming moods. Feelings tend to express themselves in more subtle and less differentiated forms. All thoughts, actions, and perception orient toward establishing and sustaining relationships of feeling. Constant emotional engagement allows perception and response to others' feelings with remarkable subtlety, often through unconscious adjustment of behavior to match or influence the emotional atmosphere. Such acute social sensitivity makes this type extraordinarily adept in interpersonal contexts, facilitating smooth social interaction. Vital security is derived from the external emotional world and feeling attitudes shared within the community. Correspondence with others' feelings is necessary for well-being. Without it, distress arises and efforts are made urgently to restore connection. If sympathy is denied, conflict might be preferred to indifference, and a sharp or harsh demeanor might be employed toward perceived threats to social harmony. Judgments of people and things often become idealized, sometimes overlooking flaws to preserve emotional cohesion. Idealization is especially pronounced in close relationships. For example, a spouse and children might be regarded as exceptional beings. Such idealized perceptions, while contributing to harmonious connections, might create a tendency to repress discordant traits, occasionally producing an artificial or fragile emotional balance. From early childhood, intense attachment to parents or significant others manifests, often seeking approval and affection. Sensitivity to praise and easy wounding by perceived rejection places immense emotional importance on being valued and loved. Happiness depends heavily on the quality of emotional relationships. In adulthood, social harmony is fostered through finely tuned emotional expression rather than overt displays of feeling. Disturbance of environmental equilibrium is typically avoided, with excellence shown in creating or reinforcing emotional atmospheres through subtle cues and gestures. When harmony breaks, distress might be profound, marked by dramatic shifts between joy and despair. A natural gift for expressing emotional undercurrents of a group is evident, often acting as emotional spokespeople or catalysts in social situations. This talent appears among charismatic leaders, orators, actors, and others whose presence vividly conveys collective feeling. Our demeanor consistently reflects prevailing emotional attitudes, from refined social figures to those on society's margins. Self-image often closely intertwines with others' perception and feelings, creating high susceptibility to praise and criticism. Encouragement amplifies emotional engagement, while unrefuted objections might deeply diminish spirits. Motivation arises to demonstrate the validity of feelings, often exerting considerable influence when supported by followers or sympathetic observers. Kindness and sociability coexist with occasional pernickety or tedious insistence on emotional correctness according to personal standards. Persistence and strong will manifest in repeated attempts to convince others of the emotional perspective, sometimes straining relationships despite friendliness and good intentions. Rational judgment is employed, but thinking remains firmly subordinated to feelings. Selection and defense occur only for arguments aligned with emotional attitudes, often unaware that true objectivity and critical thought differ from moral judgment. This integration appears strongly personal and partial, especially when engaging with conflicting views. Furthermore, an intuitive leaning might suggest a tendency towards theoretical emphasis, while a corresponding sensation leaning preference might imply a focus on practical application. However, at the current state, orientation is primarily shaped by dominant feeling without a distinctly developed auxiliary function to strongly reinforce either a theoretical or practical emphasis. Hope you enjoyed this video and you found it informative. Stay tuned for more.